So every month we're inundated with tons of questions from you guys, and then we figured this month we'd get them all out of the way. And so Chris, what's the first question we got for Rick?
I guess really, Rick, what are the three most common things, actually four most common things that you see Comfort Advisors doing wrong?
One is qualifying the customer, Chris, knowing if you can close.
And what does that really mean in your mind?
Well, there's lots of things that can stop us from closing. So the first step to closing is knowing you can, right? Mm-hmm. So knowing if all decision makers are there, they have three other companies already set to come out. Is this a situation where they know for sure they're not going to do nothing for months and they're just gathering bids? They don't find this stuff up out front, and what they do is they'll spend an hour and a half with them, throw their price down on the table, and then at the end they're shut down because they get hit with one of those things. Oh, I'm not doing nothing without my husband. Oh, I got three other guys already coming out, or oh, this is something we're doing 6 months down the road. We just kind of wanted to get an idea what this is going to be. Mm-hmm. So that's a huge step they skip, is just qualifying that customer. And for some reason, they're scared to find out if they can close today. It's what they do for a living. Now I'm not talking technicians here pretty much. I'm talking salespeople, right? Mm-hmm. It's what they do for a living. And, it's only fair to know for them, really, in fairness, that they know if they can close or not, if they're really there to do business, right?
But why do you think, though, that they are scared?
It's just that age-old Chris being uncomfortable doing something they've never done before. It's just the all false evidence appearing real. They manufacture something in their mind that something awful is going to happen. They're going to get thrown out of the house. They're going to get a bad report on Better Business Bureau or on Yelp or Google. Whatever their fear is. Mm-hmm. See the difference. What they take all this stuff to be high pressure, and it's not high pressure, right? Mm-hmm. It's asking good questions in the right way. For instance, I'm not going to ask a woman or a man in an abrupt way, hey, are we closing today or not? So it's done in a subtle way, like, hey, Mary, just out of curiosity, is this something you're going to make a decision on today? Is this something you want to schedule right away? Where are you at time-wise so I can make sure I can take care of you?
Okay.
And they'll give, well, I'm not doing nothing today. Me and my husband are talking about it. And so that's my chance to get back for a second call close when everyone's there.
Right.
Okay?
Okay. Mm-hmm. What's the second on your list?
Having the path to take them down. They have no plan. They just walk in and wing it every call. They don't know what steps they want to go through. They don't know. They don't have no control of the call.
Right.
Right. And so, and this goes back to the age-old, oh, I don't want to have a script. You do have a script. You say the same thing on every call you go on, so don't fool yourself. So the key is to have a script that's planned, that has purpose and reason behind it, right? Mm-hmm. One that's going to take you to the end result that you want, okay? Or find out what you need to find out so you know if you need to come back or not, right? And they just don't do that. They just go in and wing it. They have no purpose or reason behind the things they say or do, and always end up just throwing money on the table and see what happens.
Which is one of the reasons why you've come up with the 16
That's
step
right.
roadmap.
That's right. And it's an easy one, Chris. It goes back to overcoming every objection before it becomes one. And that's mm-hmm. what this path is to do, is to make this an easy step process. My goal is, for anybody watching this, is for every call to feel like a laydown to you. I don't want the customer to feel pressured. I don't want you to feel pressured. I don't want you to feel like you're selling. And I don't want them to feel like they're being sold. That's no fun for anybody. And the 16-step process is designed to do that. So there's purpose behind everything you will do in that call.
And what's the third mistake?
Fear of closing. They call themselves sales guys, and it's really crazy, Chris. I can't tell you how many thousands of salesmen I've been in front of that say it's what they do for a living, their house they live in, their commission they make, the school they can afford for their children, everything depends on their ability to do what they do well, mm-hmm. right? And I'll ask them basic closing questions like, tell me what you want to think about. What would you say if I said I want to think about it, and they don't have no idea what to say? I'm getting other bids. I'm thinking about waiting until next year. It's just not a good time. It's more than I thought. Or, man, that's just too high. And they can't answer it because they never ask the customer to do business with them. So they never take the time to figure it out, which proves to me they never ask for business.
Right.
Because you're going to get, that stuff's going to be thrown at you all the time if you're asking someone to do business with you. So what most salespeople do if they're honest with themselves, not playing games, being pure-hearted, not playing games, get their ego out of the way, they throw the quote on the table and go, God, I hope he says yes.
So, I mean, it's real tough how can they be a high-performing comfort advisor if they've got a fear of closing, right?
That's right. And again, it's back to that. They think it's high pressure. It's because they don't know how to do it or do it right. Right? When you do it right, there is no pressure. For instance, I want to think about it. I think some of you might have seen this in past clips. It's how it's done. So, Mary, listen, I want to make sure I've answered all your questions properly. I want to make sure that I represented my company properly, and that I haven't left anything out. Before I leave, could you tell me, is there anything you can think of I left out? Or if you would, what's the number one thing you think is keeping you from doing this right now? You got to find out the answer. I've had people say to me some simple stuff like, do you have any other financing plans? I'm not sure I want to go with the heat pump. I'm not sure if I want to go with a 2-stage gas furnace. And we get back into conversation and they end up doing business with us. So sometimes it's very simple stuff, but unless you ask, you're never going to find out. The weird thing, guys, what I used to do in my training is a live training, and still do, is ask the question, or when you were young, when you were a kid and your parents said no to you, or you said no, I'm sorry, to your parents said no to you rather, and you looked at them, the first thing that came out of your mouth was, why? Why? Now, two things happened. You said why enough times, they finally said, shut up and go get it, or you got whacked in the head. But you asked why. Now we're adults and we hear no, and we tuck our tail between our legs and go, okay, call me, and run out the door. It's unbelievable to me that you're going to walk out the door with someone that you might not ever see again, it might not ever call you again, and you're letting somebody else have your money and letting that customer go to another company that might take advantage of them when you won't. So everyone loses in that. You lose, your family loses, your company loses, and so does the customer by not asking at least why before you leave. And
what's the fourth most common mistake?
No follow-up plan. They have no follow-up plan. If they don't close on the call, they don't schedule a time, tell the customer, look, how long you think it's going to take you to think about this? Where we at? You're looking like at the end of the week, Thursday, Friday. Do you mind if I call you back Thursday? Is 2 o'clock okay? And confirm me a follow-up call back. And having a plan when you call them back, sitting down possibly with your manager or the owner of the company and saying, hey, you know what, look, do we need work right now? Yes, we need work right now. Can we do this to get this job when I call them back? Have a plan. Follow up. It blows me away that guys will go out and give free. They'll give 2 hours of their time, drive out there, drive back. With all that driving time, the customer doesn't give them their business and they never call them again. It's like it's giving their time away free. They don't even try.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that you just said that kind of gets me thinking about it is, if they don't have a good process, you're going to have fear because you think something is wrong, right? You're not sure where you are in this thing, and you always say you should know you're closing.
Right.
Most people, when they're going to pop the question to their fiance or about to be fiance, they know she's going to say yes. It's not like a 50-50, right? You've kind of dated her a while. It's kind of like a formality to ask the question. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the way it should be when you're working with a customer.
Well, yeah, Rob, it goes back to this, okay? If you've closed every door on the way to the end, that's how it works, right? And then the last question is always, can I ask, if you don't mind, is there anything other than money that would keep you from doing this right now that you're not happy with? And if you close those doors all the way there, it's going to be a natural, smooth, easy close. It's all about fitting their budget now. And most guys, what they do is they leave 3 or 4 doors open on the way to the end, and the money's always a door that's going to be open, and it's just too much to go get through to get a good ending, good result.
And it's funny too, because you mentioned about you're going to ask them why, and if we use Rob's analogy, if you were to ask your soon-to-be fiance for her hand in marriage, and she says no, you're going to ask why. You're not just going to go, right. Well, hey, it was great seeing you. I'll talk to you soon.
Have a good life. Hope the chiropractor works out for you.
So you're going to ask why. So it goes hand in hand with that.
Yeah. Yep. True.